Was it wrong for Nike to change the cross of St George in the back of the New England kit?
Yeah, I think it was. And I think
What
it's
was
hard.
it they were doing?
Look, I mean, as you know, I'm a big football fan. I go to England games, men and women's game, and the flag is used by everybody. It is a unify. It doesn't need to be changed. We just need to be proud of it. So I think they should just reconsider this and change it back.
All right.
I'm not even sure they can properly explain why they thought they needed to change in the first place. But one more thing on that. They could also reduce the price of the shirts. I think we can all get behind
pounds. All get behind that. What was the last book you read? And very important caveat, that wasn't that biography about you recently.
Who says I've read it? I'm reading...
You wrote half of it, didn't you?
Yeah. There's a book by Melissa Bailey at the moment that I'm reading, Lost at Sea, which is an intriguing book. So I'm in the middle of that. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm halfway through. And one more before we go on to the heavy stuff again. Your tipple after a hard day in the office? Pale ale. Ooh, I'll buy you one after this if you're good. Right, enough of the easy stuff. Let's talk about pensions. Oh, actually, no, hang on. One more before pensions. It's sort of linked. Capital gains tax, your favourite subject. Angela Rayner says she's got no questions to answer about capital gains tax, but the electoral roll states that for at least 5 years she lived apart from her husband while her brother lived with her husband. Do you believe that? Yes, Angela's explained herself. She's taken legal advice and tax advice. Are you going to publish that legal advice? Assured. Well, look, that's a matter for Angela. But look, of course I believe her. But her neighbours say she's lying. They're on the record saying it's not true. Well, look, Angela's explained herself. She's taken legal advice and tax advice. And they're absolutely clear there's no tax to pay. And I think that's the long and the short of it. Do you not think that we need to be able to see that? Because there are obvious questions that are being asked very publicly that haven't really been fully answered without seeing this independent tax advice. Look, one, that's a matter for Angela, and two, for all I know, the advice might go into the personal circumstance of her living arrangements. She had real difficulties. But you expect the highest levels of honesty and trust in your... Yeah, I do, but I also respect basic privacy. I mean, there's issues there about her son, I think, and I'm very protective of my own children, and I'm perfectly willing to protect the privacy of others who want to protect their children. I don't know what Angela's position on it is, but look, she's explained herself. You're the leader of the party. No, I mean, in the legal advice. I mean, in the legal advice, there are issues about her son, as you know. But you're taking her word that it's all fine, or have you seen this legal advice? No, I've taken her word, but I also do know the legal advice has been given and the tax advice. But have you seen it? No, I haven't. So you're just taking it. It's all a matter of trust. It's all above board, and you're just taking. Well, I know what the conclusion of the advice is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on. One question that came up even much as immigration. Will you pledge, Sir Keir Starmer, to keep the pensions triple lock for the full 5 years of the next Parliament if you're lucky enough to be Prime Minister? Well, I believe in the triple lock. I don't think the government should have opened this debate up saying they would keep to it. Obviously, we'll have to see what the state of the economy is as we go into the election. We will publish all of our plans as we go in and answer that question. But I believe in the triple lock. The triple lock's going to be in your next manifesto, right? Well, look, we'll have to set that out when we get to the manifesto. You know how many emails we're going to get about this? Because you're not committing to it there, and it's one of the most live wires of political politics. I believe in the triple lock. The government says it believes in the triple lock. It should never have opened this debate up. We will set out everything fully costed our manifesto when we get to that point, as you will expect and as you will see. To be clear, you're not confirming to keeping the triple lock for the full 5 years of the next Parliament if you're lucky enough to be Prime Minister? We will look at the state of the finances as we go into the election and only make promises we can keep, but I believe in the triple lock. I think we can take it from that what we will. Waspy Women, damning report today. Lots of emails about this today. Are you going to pay that compensation if it's found to be... Would the Labour government pay up? Well, we're going to have to look carefully at that report. I haven't had the chance to go through it myself yet. I think, as I understand it, there are a number of different proposals in it. So we will, as the government, I think, is doing, look at the report and consider it. It's going to be a hefty bill, though. You've got the Post Office Horizon payouts. You've got the infected blood billions to reverse troop cuts. Are you still committed to that, by the way? Reversing the troop cuts? Yes. Good. All right, that's another 20 billion. Where are you going to get this money from? You're going to put up taxes, aren't you? No, Harry, what we've done is every time we've said we're going to do something, we've carefully set out how we're going to fund it. The only problem doing that is every time we come up with a very good idea like abolishing the non-dom tax status for those super rich who don't pay their tax in this country, the government comes along and steals our good idea. So you'll keep a few of them under wraps. Read your lips moment. Under Keir Starmer, no new taxes. Look, where we are going to put up taxes, we've already said that in relation to VAT on private schools, the non-dom tax status, some of the loopholes that we've identified.
What about national insurance? Are you going to put that back up?
No, we've argued that national insurance shouldn't go up, and we do not want to see increases in tax for working people. We think they've been overly burdened already.
Right, let's change the subject. Another popular one. Anthony asks, does Keir Starmer still believe that men have cervixes and women have testicles?
Yeah. Harry, look.
It's a fair question.
It is. And, the whole issue here has to be treated with respect and dignity. And the Labour Party has fought for women's rights all its life and will continue to do so.
But this goes back to the trust thing, though, doesn't it? You said you were going to bring in a Gender Reform Act, and now you're saying you're not. Or are you actually going to bring in a Gender Reform Act, and actually you're waiting into power to actually bring it in without telling anyone?
Well, Harry, look, on gender reform, we looked at what happened in Scotland and we learned lessons. And you put to me this sort of thesis that anybody who ever adapts their position is not fit. But I came into this job late in life. I worked as chief prosecutor for 5 years with 7,000 staff. I've worked with businesses. I've worked in the private sector. In the real world, outside of politics, when circumstances change, people adapt their position. I've not been in a business meeting where something has happened, which means the original planned decision can't happen, where people don't say, we can't do that anymore, let's adjust it and do what we can do. It is, and everybody watching this or reading this will also have the experience. We've all got it at home. You make a decision, you're going to do something. Then there's a change of circumstance. You have to say, well, I'll have to do something else now. That is plain common sense. And one of those straitjackets that we do in politics say, you can never, ever adapt to the circumstances.
So have you adapted?
I didn't adapt.
Have you adapted on this key issue? September 2021, you said it's wrong to say only women can have a cervix. Have you adapted on that now?
We've set out our position very clearly, Harry, that...
My reader here says, how can we trust him with the fundamentals of running a country, including the responsibility for the nuclear codes, if he's unable to define half of the electorate?
This is just reducing a really serious issue.
But it's a trust thing. What do you actually believe? Tell us.
Well, look, everybody knows that there's a difference between sex and gender, and I absolutely understand that and respect that. We will not be going down the road of self-identification.
Are trans women women?
Well, look, Harry...
It's a fair comment. It's a fair question.
Look, as you well know, the overwhelming majority of women, it's a biological issue, it's an issue that is absolutely central to you. There are some people, there's a small number of people in this country who are born into a gender they don't identify with. And they are often go through pretty hellish abuse. I think most people would say, if we can find a way to be respectful to all the women we must properly respect, and we've defended their rights and advanced their rights as a party and as a movement for many, many years, and will continue to do so, then fine. But we won't, and I don't think we should simply abuse, ignore, make fun of, mock.
I don't think anyone's mocking it. I think it's fair question.
I think there's something more here, which is one of the turns we've taken in the last 10 years that I think or so is this sense that we must always divide. We must find the points of difference and try to make a toxic sort of argument of every issue. It is possible to say, we can do this better, we can do this differently. And I genuinely think and hope that as we go into this election, that ability to build bridges, bring the country together is desperately, desperately needed.